me. I say, come on, my children, come on, sing alone.
She's a rich girl, she don't try to hide it. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy, empty as a pocket, empty as a pocket with nothing to lose. Sing ta-na-na, ta-na-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Ta-na-na, ta-na-na-na. She got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. 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 People say she's crazy, she got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Well, that's one way to lose these walking blues. Diamonds on the soles of your shoes. She was physically forgotten, but then she slipped into my pocket with my car keys. She said, you've taken me for granted because I please you, wearing these diamonds. And I could say, ooh, as if everybody knows what I'm talking about. As if everybody here would know exactly what I was talking about. I'm talking about diamonds on the soles of her shoes. She makes the sign of a teaspoon, he makes the sign of a wave. The poor boy changes clothes and he puts on aftershave to compensate for his ordinary shoes. And she said, honey, take me dancing, but they ended up by sleeping in a doorway by the bodegas and the lights on over Broadway, wearing diamonds on the soles of their shoes. And I could say, ooh, and everybody here would know what I was talking about. I mean, everybody here would know exactly what I was talking about. I'm talking about diamonds. People say I'm crazy, I got diamonds on the soles of my shoes, yeah. Well, that's one way to lose these walking blues. Diamonds on the soles of my shoes. Ta-na-na-na, 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 ta-na-na-na.
On Sunday afternoon, sitting in the park, Polar Park, the sun was streaming through the leaves, lovers were strolling up and down. Here come a beauty ducked indeed. She comes from north going south. Oh, whatever, hello, whatever. Mama. Mama, stand aside. Ubutebebe, I'll beg ubutebe muntu. Where stand aside? Wamuntu muntu. Wamuhlelele ngithi wamuhla umntwana umuntu muhlokonyezi lukhanya ebusuku muhle kwelanga entwasahlobo muhle sengathi ugeza ngobisi wamuhla umafrika oh mama wasandra sami awuzubumnandi awubona ubuhle bemvelo awuzubumnandi imvelo nobuhle bomnandi oh mama where my lord basho besuthi bathi Malowe Malowe bodyguards. So many bodyguards.
Let's start. Welcome back to Colombia. And we'd like to thank you for being here and being
Can we move this?
It's wonderful that the G20 summit is setting up this month to have these talks and further advance the relationship between South Africa and the
Colleagues, can we please settle down? The press conference will start in the next 10 minutes. Can we please take our seats? The media on the left, official delegations on the right. Can we please settle down?
I said, Lalela, wait. I didn't say anything to you. I called Ambassador Dlomo. Ambassador Dlomo then spoke to you. It wasn't me that gave you the instruction. No, I just said, Ambassador Dlomo, he has patience to speak. You must speak. It's the last.
It can't. Colleagues, can we please settle down? Can we please find our seats? then they are leaving after that. You can bring it.
The thought was the agreement. No, this is the thought. So that is the or is the agreement.
One is the symbolic signing.
For me, what would work practically? For me, that
Yeah, I'm listening.
I'm saying, for me, what would work practically, because the video is a bit prolonged. Now you sign the first crew, they finish, Minister Mantashe goes and signs. I don't know the sequence you will.
Yeah. It's first
And then
Parks,
Parks,
Minister
and then
Parks Tower.
Mantashe, and then once they're done, we invite them there as the video is still playing. They symbolically sign, but you can bring the board closer so that it's not too far. Then they sign.
The one signing here will sign the board.
That's what I'm told.
Yes.
So the three, once they are done here, the president are witnessing. So they're witnessing from the stage. The whole time. It's a short ceremony. Yes. Yeah. It's a very short ceremony.
People this moment. Crowded around the president's man. Did you see they stood the whole back of the room?
No, maar non fai attenzione alle soldi, non devi buono. Non fai
They're signing. They're going to walk and sign.
Don't you want to put the camera out? Because now it will shoot that we get that dirty door behind it.
Okay. So we must move it to the other side. move it to the other side, but the heads of states are standing there.
Right? Yeah, but where it was better.
Where
Now,
there, but it's
now if we shoot this, we get this cameraman.
It's okay. You won't necessarily have to shoot it because they would have signed. This is just symbolic.
Yeah, no, but that's a picture we need for. But yeah, there's no other action. Just a small bit there.
Okay, just move it. Move it quickly because we need to start. But don't block the cameras.
May we please rise for the arrival of the President?
Please take your seats. Where do we have a person who starts us off? No, they don't want to anymore. We start? Pardon? Oh, we start off with the signing.
We just witness.
He's going to do that. And we just stand
We
here.
just stand here and witness.
And witness.
Your Excellency, Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, Your Excellency, President Ursula von der Leyen, Your Excellency, President Costa, welcome to the signing ceremony of the two agreements. The first one will be signed by the Minister of Trade, Investment and Competition, Minister Parks Tau, and on the European Union side, Mr. Stefan Sejourné. May you please proceed to the table. This agreement is on Clean Trade Investment Partnership Agreement between the Republic of South Africa and the European Union. Thank you very much. The second agreement will be an MOU on sustainable mineral and metals value to be signed by Minister Mantashe, the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources of the Republic of South Africa, and the Vice President of the European Commission, Mr. Stefan Sejourné. Thank you very much, Honourable Ministers. Your Excellency, President Ramaphosa, Your Excellency, President von der Leyen, Your Excellency, President Costa, we will now have the symbolic signing of the trilateral agreement between Transnet, BioVac, and the European Investment Bank. For the CEOs, please proceed to the board.
It seems a more simple document. Yes. Wonderful. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Your Excellencies, that concludes the first part of our program this afternoon. The second part will be, I will hand over to the spokesperson of the President, Mr. Vincent Bugwenya.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Your Excellencies, President Ramaphosa, President Costa, President van der Leyen, we will now commence with the last installment of today's proceedings, which is a media briefing. We'll invite President Ramaphosa to kick off with his remarks. Thereafter, Mr. President, you'll hand over to President van der Leyen, who will in turn hand over to President Costa. Mr. President, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Vincent. Your Excellencies, Ursula and Antonio, it's a real pleasure to have you here, and I also have to extend my greetings to the members of the European Union and the South African delegations made up of our ministers and deputy ministers and officials. It has indeed been a real honor to jointly preside over the South Africa-EU leaders trilateral meeting. Today we have an opportunity to take stock of the progress that we have made, and particularly over just this past year, but also take stock in the overall relationship between South Africa and the European Union. We've characterized this relationship as a mature relationship, a relationship that is predictable, that is reliable, and that is based on trust. And we are very pleased as South Africa to have a partner like the EU, and where we are able to discuss a variety of matters. Just this year alone, President van der Leyen was saying that we have met just this year 4 times. We met in Cape Town, and then we met at the at the United Nations. Then we met in Brussels, and we're meeting today. And all those meetings that we have held have been very productive. They have now produced the agreement that we have seen signing here. There are quite a number of other issues on which we are discussing that are in the pipeline, and these are matters of great importance to the two partners in this relationship. We have prioritized the transition to green energy, ensuring that this process is just and inclusive, but more importantly, also safeguards the livelihoods of those who are most affected by the transition. We also have agreed on cooperation in the areas of critical minerals and support for green infrastructure, local vaccine production, and the pharmaceutical value chain. Now, all these are very important, not only to us as South Africa, but also to the EU. We have now successfully finalized a clean trade and investment partnership. This is a really unprecedented agreement for us, but the more other exciting one is the Memorandum of Understanding on Critical Minerals. It is actually quite instructive that it has been signed by Minister Mantashe, who is the Minister of Mineral Resources and Petroleum. Now, as he sat there, I was looking at him like 40 years ago when I knew him. He was a mine worker, worked on the mines underground, digging up all those minerals. And he became the leader of the trade union of those mine workers that he was part of. And now he's a minister signing an agreement on critical minerals. Now, this is history-making, absolutely history-making. Now, you may recall Nelson Mandela in his book when he said, we want to create a country where the son of a shepherd, cattle shepherd, can rise to become president of a country. He was talking about himself. Now, today we witness how a mine worker who worked underground in a mine today can sign an agreement with Europe, with the European Union, on critical minerals. But the substance of that agreement is what is important. It is important to note that we are signing an unprecedented agreement. We've never really fully signed such an agreement where two partners agree that we are no longer going to rely on extracting minerals only. We will want to extract those minerals, have them processed at the point of extraction, add value to those minerals so that South Africa begins to move up the value chain of beneficiation. That is the unprecedented nature of this agreement. These two agreements will strengthen our trade and investment ties. They will provide a platform for regulatory cooperation and identification of strategic projects, especially in green hydrogen, clean technology, and the critical raw materials. In October, I visited Brussels to attend the Global Gateway Forum at the invitation of President von der Leyen. It was the very first time at the EU offices. They have these massive offices that I had never seen before. I was so impressed, and I was tempted. If I was a thief, I would have wanted to steal that building and bring it to South Africa. At that forum, President von der Leyen announced an increase in the value of the EU Global Gateway investment package for South Africa, so that it now totals closer to 12 billion euros. The package includes support for just component of our energy transition through the reskilling and job creation, as well as support for connectivity and digital infrastructure. We successfully launched a bilateral energy dialogue in September, which will support our just energy transition. It will include other collaborative opportunities such as the export of sustainable aviation fuel by Sasol and the development of clean coal technologies. Now, all these are still in the pipeline of negotiations, and I have no doubt that just as we have reached agreement on other areas, we will be able to reach agreement here as well, including agreements that we will reach on citrus and a number of other areas. We've also agreed on the development of the auto industry in South Africa through local manufacturing of electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, and e-batteries for export to the European market. We agreed to stand together in defense of democracy, in defense of multilateralism, human rights, and the rule of law. We reaffirmed our commitment to the central role of the United Nations and maintaining global peace and security. And these are matters that we've been discussing over time and reaching the meeting of minds and consensus. And this goes to show and demonstrate the maturity of the relationship and the depth of the relationship as well. We agreed to strengthen our dialogue, yes, on peace and security, and we are encouraged by the EU support of South Africa's G20 presidency, which has been evidenced by the participation of EU member countries in the G20 engagements over the past year. President von der Leyen and President Costa, we found the EU countries' participation in the G20, very, very positive, very supportive, and always looking for ways to reach agreement and find solutions. So we salute your officials, and we want to thank you for the way in which they have supported South Africa in its G20 presidency. I look forward to... Thank you for that. That was nice. I look forward to attending the EU-Africa Summit in Angola, which will start on Monday. I'm sorry that we're going to put you to a great deal of work and travel, but it is the work that we have to do. We will use the opportunity to advance the AU's Agenda 2063 in Angola and the EU's Global Gateway Strategy in support of sustainable development across Africa. Now, on behalf of the government of the Republic of South Africa and the people of South Africa, it has been a pleasure to have both of you here today prior to the holding of the Leaders' Summit on Saturday. This meeting affirms our commitment to continue building a mutually beneficially strong relationship between the European Union and South Africa. So we thank you and welcome to South Africa, and I hope your stay is a pleasant one. Thank you very much. I hand over to you now.
Thank you very much, President Ramaphosa, dear Cyril. Thank you for your warm welcome here at Joburg. Tomorrow, indeed, you will host the G20 in your great and beautiful country. And this will be the first G20 summit to take place on African soil, the first since the African Union joined as a permanent member. And I think this highlights Africa's central, vital role on the global stage. But first, let's talk about us, indeed. Today, the time is here for South Africa and Europe. And indeed, dear Cyril, this has been quite a year for our relationship. Today, we are building with the results you've just witnessed on the success of the summit in Cape Town and of the Global Gateway Summit in Brussels. Thanks again that you were coming there. And now, right here in Joburg, we double down on this very unique partnership. First of all, indeed, we signed our Clean Trade and Investment Partnership. And you must know this is the very first time that the European Union is signing such a partnership. So you are a highly valued partner for a Clean Trade and Investment Partnership. This will boost, of course, trade and investment. It will boost it in key clean sectors, green hydrogen, renewables, many more. And for the first time, we will discuss regulation, we will discuss trade barriers and security of supply under one framework. The CTIP will make South Africa a destination of choice for European clean tech investment. It will also broaden our cooperation on skills, because we all know that technologies are only as good as the people operating them. So skilling people, upskilling is the most important part here. And of course, with skills come jobs, and new jobs, good jobs right here in South Africa. Today, we also signed our MOU on minerals and metals, the value chain partnership. We need these inputs to power the clean energy transition, both here and in Europe. So the future of our economies depends on a fair and on reliable supply chains, and my emphasis is on reliable supply chains. This is the reason why we strengthen and diversify our supplies among trusted partners, and you are, for us, one of the first trusted partners. This agreement will also help South Africa to expand its strategic industry. And as you said, we are not only looking at extraction. For us, it's very important that we are looking at the whole value chain, at the locally added value, because this brings local jobs. And for us, this is the meaning of a sustainable partnership over a long time and a trusted partnership. And today, indeed, at the airport, I met the Minister for Mining. You received me there, and we were discussing that. And when I said, for us it's important not only the extraction, but the processing locally, and the added value locally, and the jobs locally, you said, okay, because you said that, and this is so, I will come this afternoon to sign the agreement. And I was happy that you were here. We are also delivering, as you said, on our 12 billion Global Gateway Investment Package. And today we've signed 3 new major projects. First, together with the European Investment Bank, we are investing 350 million euro to modernize South Africa's infrastructure, both in transport and in energy. And this includes support for Transnet's decarbonization under the Just Energy Transition Partnership. The second part is we're launching a 330 million euro financing package to strengthen the value chain for critical raw materials, as we just discussed, but also green hydrogen, e-batteries, electric batteries. And the third part is we're investing 70 million euro in South Africa's pharmaceutical and vaccine production. And this is a real success story, because I remember, Cyril, during the pandemic, how much we were discussing how we can make sure that the production, the development and the production of vaccines for Africa takes place in Africa. And indeed, COVID-19 showed us how important this vaccine sovereignty is. And here is now the result. It's up and running. So really, I thank you for the excellent cooperation we had on that topic. Finally, we're teaming up not only for South Africa, but for the whole of Africa. 1 year ago, the two of us launched the Scaling Up Renewables for Africa campaign. This is basically to mobilize investments for clean energy, to help provide access to electricity, because we all know 600 million people on the continent still lack access to electricity. Therefore, tomorrow is a big day, our final pledging event. We have brought governments, companies, and philanthropists together with one clear goal in mind: to power the future of this entire continent with clean, affordable, and accessible energy. And tomorrow we are hosting here the final pledging event together. So thank you very much again, and very much looking forward to the next days. Thank you.
Mr. President, dear Cyril, dear Ursula, first of all, I would like to congratulate the South African authorities and the Commission for the work that you have been since our summit 8 months ago in Cape Town. It's very impressive, the capacity that you show to translate in concrete projects what we have agreed and our ambitious common partnership. My second word is to thank President Ramaphosa and South Africa for their very strong global leadership. We are living in the multipolar world, and in this multipolar world, we need to engage and to strengthen the relationship between the different poles of this world. And Africa is a very important, is a key continent for the future of our world, and of course South Africa has a leading position in this continent. And the G20 meeting is a great opportunity to gather people from all around the world to come here and to sit at table, to discuss, to listen each other, to bring new proposals, to try to tackle the global challenges that we need to face together, because the global challenges, only together we can tackle them. Climate change, inequality, poverty are 3 main issues that we need to mobilize the entire world to do on this. Our partnership is based in shared values, mutual respect, and the commitment to democracy, multilateralism, and a fairer, more sustainable world. These principles are also the cornerstone of your G20 presidency. We have chosen a motto: solidarity, equality, and sustainable development. The European Union fully embraces your priorities, and we are actively contributing to making this week's summit a success. Now more than ever, we need strong multilateralism platforms and institutions, a rules-based order, open dialogue and global cooperation to tackle common challenges. Fighting climate change, inequality and poverty. By upholding the Paris Agreement, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Pact for the Future. Engaging in the reform of the international financial institution and in the reform of the United Nations to reflect the world of today, because the world of today is not anymore the world of 1945. We need to act for the well-being of our people today and to ensure a sustainable future for generations to come. For the very first time, the G20 held on Africa soil, and your agenda, dear President Ramaphosa, is firmly geared towards your continent's prosperity and innovation potential. The European Union is a reliable, predictable, and trustworthy party for Africa on that path. Our two continents are bound by a unique partnership. It is robust, it is dynamic, and it is looking to the future. As you said, next Monday, we will hold our 7th European Union-African Union Summit in Luanda, Angola. And with a clear purpose in mind to strengthen and enrich our cooperation, to make our natural connection even stronger, and so that we can grow together and protect each other. Dear President, I look forward to welcome you, together with my friend President João Lourenço, there next week. Until then, thank you once again for hosting us here in Johannesburg, and all the best for our G20 meeting tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. We will now open the floor to questions. However, due to time constraints, we're only limited to 2 questions, I'm afraid. We'll start with Henry.
Henry Foy from the Financial Times. President Ramaphosa, to you, there's reports in your own state media that Donald Trump's administration now does want to take part in the G20. Can you confirm whether they're true or not? And related, you talked about predictable, reliable partners. Do you think that the EU has demonstrated it is now more of a reliable, predictable partner than the US for South Africa and for other G20 nations? And to the 2 EU presidents, related to that, you've talked about how Trump's presidency and the tariff war has made the EU look for new friends that it wasn't working close with in the past. Has the way Trump has dealt with the G20, and particularly South Africa, helped make deals like today happen, which, as you said, have come together in the last 8 months only? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Well, thank you very much. We have received notice from the United States, a notice which we are still in discussions with them over, about a change of mind about participating in one shape, form, or other in the summit. So the discussions are still ongoing. This comes really at the late hour before the summit begins. And so therefore we do need to engage in those types of discussions to see how practical it is and what it finally really means. In a way, we see this as a positive sign, very positive, because, as I've often said, boycott politics never work. It's always best to be inside the tent than being outside of the tent. The tent is the G20. All countries are here, and the United States, being the biggest economy in the world, needs to be here. So it's pleasing to hear that there is a change of approach, and so we are still discussing how that will manifest. On the issue of relationships, we as South Africa focus on the bilateral relationships that we have with various partners in the world, and we are not in the business of comparing one relationship against another. We deal with our relationships on a bilateral basis, and the multilateral side of relations happens either at regional bodies, continental bodies, or global bodies, which is at the multilateral level. So it's not for me to even say this relationship is better than the other one. What I can tell you, as I said earlier, is that Europe, the EU, has been our partner for years. The relationship has matured. It's reliable, it's predictable, and it's based on trust. And we've used this relationship to resolve many problems that may have been regarded as intractable. And so both of us have a deep commitment to making our relationship work on an ongoing basis, despite challenges or problems that may come our way. So far, it's been smooth sailing, a relationship between South Africa and the European Union. Thank you.
Look, first of all, we are very glad to be here. First of all, to continue to work on our bilateral relationship with South Africa, but also to participate in the G20 meeting. The G20 is a very important platform of dialogue from different countries, different people from different parts of the world. And the European Union believes in this multilateral system, in the international rules-based order. And we are very engaged in the multilateral system, United Nations, G20, G7. We support the reform of the international trade organization. We are engaged in all international organizations. And we are very engaged in weaving a very strong and diversified network of relationship. During last year, I think we had more than 10 summits with Central Asia countries, with Japan, with China, with Canada, with the United Kingdom. Well, I cannot remember all. With South Africa. Look, more than 10, and we will continue. And Europe is sovereign in defining their own external policy, and we are present where we believe that's important to be present and to engage with our partners, with those who are friends, with those who are allies, and also with those with which we have problems, because the only way to solve problems is to talk about it.
I can add to what Antonio just said. I mean, the initial wake-up call for the European Union to diversify and to look for reliable partners, trusted partners, was when we had the energy crisis, and we all of a sudden realized our over-dependencies of fossil fuels from Russia, and Russia cut from one day to the next the supply of energy. You all witnessed the severe energy crisis we went through, and this was the initial trigger for us to understand you need to diversify, that's important, you have a network of suppliers, and you need trusted and reliable suppliers. As we say, you always meet twice in life, so it's also so that on both sides there needs to be trust. And then you can build good things, as we just are showcasing here. For us, it's very important. We are very committed to the WTO. Of course, there needs to be a reform of the WTO, but to have a rules-based trade worldwide is also important. And of course, now we are intensively negotiating with many countries and regions of the world different free trade agreements. You know that we finalized with Mexico, Mercosur, and Switzerland. We are about to finalize with India. We're working with Australia, Malaysia, so others too. For us, very important to have learned the lessons. No more over-dependency, no more reliance on one single supplier, but have a network of trusted partnerships all over the world.
Thank you very much. Last question, Tembile.
Good evening. My name is Tembile with Bloomberg News. It seems like you went from struggling to pull together an EU-South Africa summit for many years to having two in 1 year, and it's been a very turbulent period, I think, globally, politically speaking. Is there something to read into the frequency of these engagements all of a sudden? Is there perhaps a political signal that you're trying to send by doubling down, as the President said, on these ties? And then President Ramaphosa, you said that the US request comes at the 11th hour, and you would have to look at the practicalities of accepting that request. Does that mean that there's an opportunity or perhaps a possibility where it would not be practical to accept their request to be readmitted, as it were, to the G20 summit? Thank you.
Well, the United States is a member of the G20. They are the original member of the G20, so they have the right to be here. And all we will be seeking to do is to look at the various practicalities, logistical and otherwise, for them to participate. They have a seat at the round table, as you will see on Saturday. There is a seat for the United States. So when President Trump said they are not coming, that seat still remained. It was empty for a while, but it will hopefully be occupied, but we want to deal with all those practicalities. You should know that because it's a gathering of G20 leaders, there is a lot of logistics that go into getting the leaders to come to the venue and to participate, and how they will speak, their speaking order and all that. So those are matters that had not been pre-planned because they pulled out. So we need to understand precisely how all that will pan out. So we're clear. The United States has a right to participate in the G20, and much as they notify us at the 11th hour, we still need to engage with them to understand fully what their participation at the 11th hour means and how it will manifest itself. Thank you. He'll tell you that very little to say.
I think the President Ramaphosa said everything.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this media conference.
Peter has a question.
Peter, okay.
Thank you
Let's
very
take
much.
this last one.
Mr. President, I wonder if you could clarify to the extent that you can, although you said you're trying to establish what exactly the role is that the US wishes to play. I understood that they have asked for the Chargé d'Affaires in Pretoria to participate in a handover ceremony, but You're implying something much more deep and extensive than that. And if you could perhaps give some idea of exactly how far that participation might go. Thank you.
Well, Peter, Fabricius, you seem to know things as they happen. So there was another communication which came as we were seated here in this bilateral meeting. So we're still digesting that one. It's now seemingly moved away from the charge just receiving the role that they must now play to also something else. That's precisely what we are now examining. You tend to know too much, Peter.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. Your Excellencies, if I may ask you to please remain there and just indulge me for a moment. I'm informed that there was a signing, another symbolic signing that was erroneously missed. So I'd like to call forward our development partners from Germany, the DBSA, IDC, to please proceed to the board to sign the beginning, rather, of the projects on minerals and green hydrogen. IDC, DBSA, and our German development partners, please proceed to the board. Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause.
But what a symbolic entity. We're now serious about, relationship.
Thank you very much. A final round of applause. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this media briefing. You may take leave of us. Thank you very much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.